guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 8, episode 10. Well, we might as well get into it. We gonna get a little spicy, just a little bit, and talk about these two things that, oddly enough, have a connection to Mia. Okay, yeah, and they made me laugh. You know, one thing, even though Mia is infected with the disease of diabetes, she makes me laugh, and the people attached to her make me laugh. So I guess it's okay. So we're gonna be talking about Jacqueline. You know, the only reason why I say that is because of James Caldwell. Check out his channel. I enjoy the things that he posts up there, y'all. You know, he my uncle in my head. But he's funny to me. But he always, when he does reviews about Potomac, especially last season when Jacqueline was around, he always called her Jacqueline, and it has stuck with me. But she posted a shot, or she shaded Nneka about a week ago because of a specific scene in this episode, and we're going to talk about it, as well as Carlos King did an interview with Mia's new man. So let's get into that. So first, let's talk about Jacqueline. So Jacqueline decided that she didn't like what Nneka had to say about her in this episode, but she found out about this about a week ago when they showed the sneak peek of where Nneka said she met Jacqueline at Charisse's event, and Jacqueline spoke about Mia very disparagingly, and she spoke about her for 2 hours, and on top of that, Jacqueline didn't pay her tab. So this is what Jacqueline had to say. So what it is a Instagram post, but also the picture is a screenshot of a thread that Jacqueline posted. So if you don't know what Threads is, it is Instagram, or I think Facebook and Instagram's version of Twitter. Because y'all know, once, you know, Mr. Muskie took over Twitter, it's been the Wild Wild West. He's still mad that we won't call it X because it's stupid. Okay, so we call it Twitter, but if you didn't know, Zuckerberg and Muskie got beef. So Zuckerberg's rebuttal when he found out that, like, you know, Twitter was going down, decided to make Threads because he thought everybody was gonna leave Twitter and go to Threads, but no. We it's too many apps. We got central. There are only about 5 apps that everyone stays on: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and, you know, Snapchat is still holding on. Them the 5 apps that everyone stays on. Y'all be trying to give us new apps and we don't like them. Okay, we don't like them. We don't, okay? It just don't feel right, okay? Then you got to figure out how to get all your followers back. It's too much. But this is what Jacqueline had to say. So I'm going to read the picture in the threads first, and then I'm going to read her caption. So in the threads picture, she said, "What's interesting is I'm the topic of discussion in your little confessional. Now, who seems more relevant? Last time I checked, our convo wasn't on camera, and I'm not even on the show this season, but you're speaking about me like I'm there. Get a storyline. Better yet, get a hobby." So then her caption was, "It's only fair for me to speak my thoughts since I am a ghost this season. The little confessional equals so dry and wrong. The conversation didn't go down like that and certainly didn't last 2 hours. And a tab you think you paid? Laughable. Honey, the fact that you're speaking on me, you should run me your check. How about that, love?" So that was Jacqueline responding to Nneka. Now, Jacqueline, it won't that deep, sis. Mind you, I don't get why she's also not responding to Charisse, because Charisse even said that it was kind of weird that you had messed up things to say about Mia where you don't even know Nneka. But I guess Jacqueline has more of a relationship with Charisse. I can also see Jacqueline being on next season because if you don't know, Jacqueline and Mia are now friends again. And I think that maybe this is Jacqueline's way of getting back on the show. So if Nneka is there next season, then Jacqueline will have beef with Nneka by way of Mia. So it makes sense. It makes sense. But girl, it won't that deep. So the last thing we're going to talk about, girl, is Carlos King doing this interview with with Mia's new man. And I don't even know this man's name. Like, Carlos King didn't even put the man's name in his like promotional like tweet. All it said was, and he posted this last night, he said, "Baby, tonight I'm chatting with Mia Thornton's new man about their relationship, and he reveals all. Head to my YouTube channel at 9 p.m. Eastern, hashtag RHOP, hashtag reality with the king." First of all, I'm not watching. Unless I see clips, because I feel like this to me is not the right time to release this, mainly because when we saw the mid-season trailer, we saw that situation where Mia and Gordon were going back and forth, and Mia said something about like, "That's not fair," and Gordon said something to the effect of like, "If you want fair, go to the circus," or something like that. And I was like, why not release it then? Because the buzz will be there, but I don't feel like the buzz is there right now. Like, yes, Mia shocked us on December the 31st or on January the 1st when you see the post where she had her legs wrapped around this man and then y'all found him on the internet. I think the only interesting thing I saw with that promotional video is Mia and this guy who I don't know his name. Again, I'm gonna reiterate that we don't know the man's name. They knew each other, and actually it seems like they were dating when G stepped into the picture, and like the boy didn't have the funds for Mia, so Mia left, and he knows who Mia is. I can give Mia credit for that. Mia seems to be pretty much very upfront with who she is at the door. Like, I'm here for this. If you ain't got it, I got to go. So I can't really be too mad at her. But I did think it was interesting that it seems like they were together before G stepped into the picture. So it seems like Mia cheated on this man and G cheated on his wife allegedly to be together. So you know how the saying goes, the way you get them is how you lose them, you know? But baby, and it doesn't even seem like this interview was like behind Mia's back, because in the trailer, you also see Carlos King calling Mia, and Mia's being like, "Hey, what y'all talking about while I'm not there?" and giggling. So I feel like this is about to turn into Love and Hip Hop Potomac. This is what this is about to turn into, because this is giving very Love and Hip Hop Potomac-esque. Okay, it's giving that. It really is. But, okay, let's get into this review. So if I'm going to be honest, I really wasn't going to do this review. I think Potomac has lost its steam for me. And for some reason, here's the thing. When I review shows, eventually I get out of steam. Like, I'm just kind of like, I get bored of it, but I feel like I've gotten bored of Potomac a lot quicker than normal, because we're only on episode 10, I think. And I'm like, let me check my notes. Yeah, we're only on episode 10, and I feel like I normally get out of steam around like maybe the second to last episode before we get into the reunion. But for some reason, I'm just kind of like, here. Okay, so we gonna do it. So the episode opens up and we are at the tattoo shop. Raven is in town, and Karen and her are going to get matching tattoos in remembrance of Karen's mom. I think her name is Georgia or Georgianne. It's either or, because they got G's. Mind you, them G's were like this small. And the way Karen was screaming, talking about this feels like giving birth. And mind you, I have a tattoo right here, and I have one right here, and I have one on my back. And they're pretty, they're noticeable. So I was just like, Karen, that right there is not that painful. Karen going, woo, woo. I said, Karen, if you don't shut up. Shut up. Even the guy who was tattooing, she was like, I did good, right? And he was like, this took way longer than it needed to be. He started laughing. I said, yeah, Karen, because you doing too much. You doing too much. But I thought it was really nice that they got matching tattoos in remembrance of her grandma. And Karen even said in her confessional, I think it's great that Raven wanted to get a tattoo with me, because it's like, I'm the cool mom. I actually really like Raven and Karen's relationship. They seem to really have a good relationship. On top of that, I think Raven is like the perfect combination of Karen and Ray. Like she looks like Ray a little bit, but she like she has a skin color and I can kind of see it like in her like some of her facial features, but she also has Karen's features as well. And I just love the outfits that they wore in the confessional. What made me laugh is somebody on Twitter talking about, I know there's a wealthy white boy that don't play about Raven, and the way I cackled. I said, you probably not lying. Raven probably got a nice, rich white man that loves her down. And I love that for her. But she looks so cute in the confessional. But they're sitting there, like after they get them, I think before they got the tattoos done, Karen tells Raven that, hey, I want us to go have brunch or lunch with Giselle and Grace because she's going to college and I would like for you to talk to her about it. And the way Raven's face looked, and then Raven was like, okay. That's cute. And Karen says, I know you have your feelings about Giselle, but I really like me and her on a good path. I'm with Raven. You beef with my mama. I don't like you. My mom may forgive you, but I don't like you. You beef with any of my parents. I don't like you. I don't like you. And just because they forgive you doesn't mean I forgive you. Like, girl, because I'ma always remember how you did them. Okay? And why would you do them like that? Because they're from God. Like, what's wrong with you? See, I'm with Raven. You mess with my mama, I don't like you. Or my dad, I don't like you anymore. And I was like, Raven was like, okay, we're going to have a sit down. So we see the sit down with Giselle, Grace, Raven, and what's her name? And Karen. And it was a cute sit down. I was actually surprised that they brought up Jack and Jill, because if you don't know, the show originally was supposed to be about Jack and Jill. And like Karen spoke about Jack and like in her confessional, like Jack and Jill is supposed to be like this organization that teaches kids how to give back. Yeah, but it's a lot of like classism and colorism in there too. We not gonna lie, okay? And it's a lot of elitism as well. But Jack and Jill honestly is, and like she said, it's like an organization that's supposed to help give these kids connections to other wealthy black families. Like that's how you connect, you know what I mean? And so I was just surprised that they brought that up, because the show originally was supposed to be about Jack and Jill, but then the Jack and Jill community told Bravo, like, girl, try us and we gonna sue. And so that's when they switched the show into a Real Housewives franchise or brand. But I just thought it was interesting. Karen said that she met Giselle at a function, and that's how they became friends. And, she just showed up. And then Giselle is still holding on to about how she lost this cookie bake-off kind of thing, where Karen was just like, I was grading on, presentation. You didn't do the right presentation, because I think the Christmas party was hosted by Karen or whatnot. But it was a nice scene, It's crazy to see how far, like, looks wise, Karen and Giselle have came. You know what I mean? But the conversation between Raven and Grace was nice. I think it was nice when Raven was like, girl, I was boohoo crying, but then once I got to college, I just was happy. Like, I was in my own element. I was getting to know myself, and you'll probably be the same way, because Grace is kind of worried about, like, making friends, and she was like, I'm a homebody, like, but hopefully she's doing well down there. I was the opposite, because I didn't want to go to my college. The college I wanted to get into, I didn't get into, so I wasn't really that happy to go, and I cried for a while, and I hated school. Until I got to junior year. Junior year is where I actually like met my friends, and I actually got to get to know people, because it was hard for me to make friends. Like, I would be cool with a group, and then they would kind of ghost me. Like, eventually, like, I wouldn't, like I said, they would ghost me. Like, I wouldn't be in the friend group anymore. Like, they would be hanging out, but then want to call me for a ride because I had my car down there. So eventually I just had to learn how, like, to tell when people are trying to use me. So like I said, it wasn't until junior year where I found people that, like, were legit, like, my friends who I'm still cool with till this day. So I can get the, like, scariness of being like, dang, am I really gonna meet people, or am I gonna really connect with them? Like, am I gonna have a good time? But eventually you do. So it was with Robin and Juan, and honestly, the only crust in this, like, is it crust or crux? Crux? I think it's crust. Crux. Oh my God. The only point of this scene for me was the text message that Candace sent about inviting Robin to the Mother's Day brunch. And basically it says, she said, hey, I hope all is well. We haven't had an opportunity to talk yet, and I'm still hoping we can. I'm hosting a Mother's Day brunch and would love to have you and Gigi there. If we can put our differences aside to honor our mothers and come together somehow as a group, we all be better for it. Link me your thoughts. So Candace decided to invite Robin to the Mother's Day brunch, but we clearly see that Robin doesn't show up, and that's Robin's choice. But this scene, to me, other than that, wasn't important. The scene actually is of her whole entire family, the boys, Juan included, going to a physical therapy place, to help the boys. I think the oldest one also plays basketball, but a lot of his injuries are on one side of his body, so it's important to stretch and make sure he don't get arthritis at like 12. But I think he going to high school. I think little boy going to high school. But the reason why I said the point of this scene really didn't matter much is, like, it's the same thing. And it's crazy to me because we always complain about who we think should stay on the show and who we think should go. And I feel like at this point, if Robin is going to constantly give us a storyline about Juan, and I know that is her story, is about Juan, I kind of don't care I don't care anymore. And the main reason why I don't care anymore is because Robin's okay with being disrespected. She's okay with being disrespected and neglected by her husband, when it's like, I think you deserve better, because it doesn't seem like, even if Juan is not an affectionate person, he could give you more than what he's giving you in these scenes. The fact that they were getting stretched and, like, the guy was doing everything and Juan went to sleep, and it didn't even seem like it was real sleep. It felt like he was playing sleep, like he didn't want to have the conversation. And I get it. He's having a hard time trying to find a job. And Robin is saying, once you get a job, I still want us to focus on being more family oriented. Because I guess when he had a job, he wasn't really like that. And we know when he was playing basketball, Robin was at home with them 2 kids by herself. So it's kind of like, I get what she's saying, but he don't care. He really doesn't seem to care. And I'm just kind of like, this is who you chose? And I feel bad, but it's like, why do I feel bad when she's okay with accepting less? And it's like, at this point, the story isn't worth anything anymore because she's okay with Juan playing in her face. And it's like, okay, if she okay with it, she okay with it. But I don't think we have to talk about it anymore. Because my thing is, if we get to season 9 and that's still your storyline, is he can't find a job. And honestly, if I'm being real, I don't think he's going to get a job in coaching. If anything, if he does get a job in coaching, it probably would be like at a community college. And I don't know how much community colleges pay. And I'm not slighting community college, because I took classes at community college and they're just as hard as being in college. But I'm just saying, when it comes to pay, I don't think it's equivalent to like an actual 4-year university. So, but I feel like those are going to be the only organizations that take him after what happened at Coppin State. Like, yeah, Juan wasn't. I don't think nobody gonna touch that man at this point. So it's either you leave and focus on something else, or focus on another aspect of like your career. And I know that's hard, because like, especially if that's something you were really passionate about and that's something you always saw yourself doing, and you can't do it anymore. It's a hard pill to swallow, especially if you don't feel like you did anything wrong and you tried your best. But I think he need to shift. And I also don't know if Juan has a like 4-year degree, like a bachelor's degree. So I don't know what he can do. But I don't think this scene was that interesting that it needed to be shown. But I guess because I honestly feel like the only reason this scene was shown is because of that text message that Candace sent. I think if Candace didn't send that text message, this probably would have been B-reel footage, because it gave nothing. So Nneka and her sister. Now, I was going to try to pronounce that lady's name, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to mess up that lady name that bad. I needed them to do like what Wendy did when she was explaining how to say NECA's name. They did not do that for her sister. I saw that N and a J. I said, oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm not even going to try. So I'm just going to call her NECA's sister. Well, we find out they're actually at a furniture store because NECA is trying to find furniture to furnish her new house because they're almost done with remodeling the home. And I hope we get to see the inside because I would love to see like what they changed. I hope they do like the side by side stuff. And her sister's coming with her to shop. They seem to have like a really good relationship. She said when they were younger, they were kind of like oil and water. They really didn't get along, but now they are friends. They even got like a little song talking about we're sisters. Did you miss us? We're sisters. Did you like? They seem to really be cool. So that's great that they have that type of bond. It's funny because that's kind of how me and my sister were. Like when we were a lot younger, we couldn't stand each other, and then once we got to high school, we was locked in. We was really close, and then when we both went to college, we got even closer. So that's great. While they're there, we get more information about her sister. So her sister is an actual doctor, like an MD. I think she has 3 kids, 2 twins and one child. The 2 twins, I think she said she got when she got married. And then the last one she had during residency. She seems like the picture they showed of her family was really beautiful. A lot of people online were like, how did they bypass the sister and give us NECA? I said, y'all don't do that. Maybe that lady didn't want to be a part of that. But it does have my wheels turning. Like, it seemed like she the one with the real coinage, the real money, but we're not gonna play with her like that. We do get more information about the dad. So the dad actually did come from nothing. Like he lived in Africa and he was poor, and then when his family immigrated, or when he immigrated over to America, he decided to go to medical school. He's actually a cardiologist, but in a very like specific specialty that is very hard to get into, and is like amazing what he does. So it kind of makes sense why she low-key shaded Wendy when she was like when I don't forgot what she said, but when she was trying to like down talk her being a PhD instead of an MD, because there's also discourse with that. If you didn't know, like some PhDs look down on people who have DVMs or MDs because they're like, what are you really doing? In the same way that people who have DVMs or MDs look down on people that have PhDs. So it kind of makes sense why she had that slick shade to throw, because she probably feels like you're not like a doctor. You're a doctor, but not a doctor. But all in all, it's still hard as hell. Y'all going to school extra time and stressed out, okay? But they sit down. Okay, they go to that furniture store, and you can tell that furniture store does not give out champagne, because when NECA lifted up her champagne to drink, they had the tag on the bottom of the glass, and it also was for sale, because it was one of them yellow orange tags where they discounted the price. And I was like, whoever gave them glasses, why did you not look at the bottom and pull it off? Because when someone drinks, they drink lifting up. And it also, those didn't even look like champagne glasses. They kind of looked like decorative, like glasses you put on a table, and then you put like decoration stuff in there, like, y'all know what I mean when you see decoration. But I was just like, I zoomed in, well, not even zoomed in, when she kept lifting up, they zoomed in, and I was like, production ain't right. I know y'all could have like fuzzed that out, but like that was wrong. Like it was like people were trying to shade NECA, but I was like, that's not NECA drinking that out of her house. She's drinking this in a furniture store, who is trying to act like it's so hoity-toity and fancy, but y'all are giving people champagne in discounted glasses that you didn't have the forethought to like take that off. On top of that, I feel like production did NECA a disservice with just so like it's like they didn't give her a chance to be introduced well. Now, does that mean like I like NECA? No, not really, because I feel like she doesn't give us anything. And I also feel like her saying that she is like taken care of, like, she said her daddy was a rich bitch. It's not giving that it's not giving that, okay? It's not giving opulence and grandeur and rich type of status. But I feel like they should have introduced NECA this way, where we meet her mom, not her mom, we meet her sister. We get more information about her dad. We find out that she really is struggling to have kids and she would love to have children. But I'm also like, well, NECA, you introduced yourself by saying you take champagne with your prenatal vitamins. That's a contradiction and doesn't make sense. On top of that, they then introduce her with the whole like shrine and the Osu situation, and it's like we didn't get a chance to really get to know her. So it's like people already don't like you. So giving us this on episode 10, a little bit more about her family, people aren't interested in listening because it's like they already don't like you because you came in going after Wendy. And I feel like production did her a disservice by not giving this to us and then this. But it seems like it was filmed later in the season. But I definitely feel like there were probably more heartfelt scenes for her. So the group event that they have this episode is Candace's Mother's Day brunch. And we have a scene where it's Mama Dot. Shouts out to Mama Dot. Mama Dot and Candace going to this, I don't know if it was like a perfume place. They had macaroons. I don't know. It was like a cute little boutique. And Candace wants to host this brunch as a celebration to her mom and all the mothers in the group. And the lady pulls out these cards and Candace is going through. She didn't invite Giselle, which I didn't have a problem with because Giselle is trying to protect her family. Why invite her to a Mother's Day brunch? She also invites Ashley, and she said, you know, Ashley is a raggedy bitch, but she's a good mama and I like Mama Sheila. So if I'm inviting her mama, I have to, we know she gonna bring Miss Sheila. So everybody's invited. It seems like Mama Dot really wants Robin and Candace to like come to an understanding. And this to me lends to the narrative that Candace and Robin did have a relationship outside of the show. The show just didn't do a good job showcasing what their relationship is, because from a lot of people's watching the show, why is Candace so hung up on Robin? Because it doesn't seem like they were friends. But if you watch the show, which we watched them off the show, it does seem like they did have a budding relationship. Robin seemed to come to all of Candace's events. She was always there supporting her. So I think that's why Candace is fighting so hard to have some understanding as to why her and Robin aren't good. But to me, after watching this episode, I think that they're both wrong. One might be more wrong than the other in some people's eyes, but I honestly think that they're both wrong at this point. So we get to the event and it's beautiful. It's outside in the garden. You have someone playing the harp. They have a lady doing caricatures, but it's not really like the caricatures we talk about, like when you go to like the boardwalk. This gave very like what you see in someone who draws like, what's it called? Who does like high fashion drawings. They were really pretty. Like I would have loved to get me one of them. Like they had music playing, and like somebody said, we on episode 10 and we have to have this event to see the opulence and the grandeur of Potomac. And I said that's because Candace got money and these other people don't. Like, because this was nice. This was beautiful. Like I would have loved to go into something like this. So everyone shows up that was invited. Karen and Mia are the only two that didn't bring their mothers. And I think Sharice didn't bring her daughter because I don't remember seeing Sharice. But Karen is there. She is riding solo. She loves it. Although, Karen, that wig you had on was too thin. It was too thin because they showed the back of her head. And I was like, girl, where's the bundles? Karen's wigs are normally very thick, and I didn't like this wig because I was like, why would y'all show the back of this lady's head and it's see-through? I don't like it. But she looked really nice. Mia showed up and I said, Mia, whimsical. This isn't giving whimsy. It's giving like, you know, Parisian spy, which is a look, but I was just like, this isn't giving what I wanted you to give. But she did look nice. We find out that her mom isn't there. I feel like she felt some type of way. She felt some type of way because she was like, my mom had to work, but it seems like her mom always shows up for her sister. But I feel like, Mia, you and your mama need to go to therapy because you still holding on to things as that happened to you as a child, which is not like, I'm not mad at it, but it's like you mad at her Like you can still see Mia still kind of mad at her mom. We then get this scene of like when Charisse pulls up, Karen's face is like, she still don't see it for Charisse. Everyone comes. We find out that Wendy was supposed to come. Oh, I forgot. Wendy had a scene. Girl, you and Robin. So Wendy's not going to be there because she is doing a book signing for her book. They're releasing it during paperback. But also, there was a scene of her with her podcast. I know the show is still like, she's doing the show right now on her channel. I think she does episodes every Monday. But the lady that she was working with, she didn't like the contract because the lady said she wanted 50-50 of like proceeds or whatever, and Wendy didn't feel like that was reasonable. So she's going with a different group, and there you have it. So let's go back to this Mother's Day brunch. So while Candace is on the phone with Wendy, and this was the second time I laughed because when Candace was in the confessional going like, why would you not come to this? Like, why would you leave me with these ladies? I would have did the same thing. But Nneka and her sister are showing up while she's on the phone. They then, we have a sit down where Mia and Charisse are talking. And during that sit down, that's when we find out that like Charisse had a function in Potomac. Everybody that was supposed to be there was there, and that Jacqueline was there, and that she cried about Mia. Like, you know, I asked her how she was doing, and she cried about Mia. Mia said that her and Jacqueline really haven't spoken. It's not because she doesn't want to, but she has a lot going on. We know now they friends. Nneka said that Jacqueline and her had a conversation, and Jacqueline talked ad nauseum about Mia, and not very well, and she didn't pay her tab. So they sit down at the table. They're all talking. We have this conversation about, what's her name? About Ashley. Ashley is not divorcing Michael. And like I said on my Miami review, Lisa and Ashley have the same issue. You don't have money without this man, which is tragic because you should have been stashing money away. But now you don't want to let him go. But I honestly think what's going on with Ashley is this is a ploy. Like, I don't think her and Michael are actually getting a divorce because like Charisse said, when I filed for divorce, I was ready to be divorced. Like, I was ready to be done. And when the papers were there, I signed them and I was happy to be done. Ashley is dragging her feet, and I think that is because her and Michael not really trying to get a divorce. Michael just didn't want to be on the show anymore. And honestly, she doesn't want a divorce because she ain't got no money on her own, which is crazy because you're on this show and you haven't been able to I'm trying to figure out, are the checks that you get from the show they're not able to sustain you? That's crazy to me. Like, you haven't been saving your money. Like, what have you been paying for, sis? It don't seem like you went to college, so you don't got no student loans. Like, you got credit card debt. Like, what is going on, sis? I don't know. But they all seem to have a really nice time at the event. They thank Candace for the event, and it seems great. Nneka brought up Wendy, and I was like, girl, Nneka, why do you care? She not there. You don't like the lady. But Ashley did bring up a good point. If she probably didn't want to bring her mama, I low-key would have loved to see Susie and Nneka talk, because I feel like Susie would have cussed Nneka out in the name of Jesus. But maybe not. Maybe not. Candace meets up, and honestly, this conversation should have never happened. Like, it should have happened sooner, but to me it should have never happened because neither one of them want to take accountability for how they harmed each other at this point. To me, Robin started it when she brought up that speaker. Like, yeah, you somewhat co-signed what Giselle did, but to me, you started it. And what it boils down to is Candace thought Robin was going to choose her over Giselle, and her feelings got hurt when she realized that Robin was not going to choose her over Giselle. And that is really what she's angry about and what she's hurt about, because she thought that Robin would understand, like, you're friends with someone who did this to me. Why aren't you my friend and not hers? But what Candace has to understand is Robin's known Giselle longer and they have a business together. So she's not going to let that friendship go so easily. And now in Candace's mind, she feels as though the only reason why Robin's not trying to be her friend or wants to be her friend is because she is being controlled, or she doesn't have a mind of her own when it comes to Giselle. And I think that is has her way of trying to rationalize why Robin isn't her friend, instead of just understanding that Robin chose her side and it's with Giselle and not you, and you have to sit with the fact that the person you thought Robin was, or she was to you, she's no longer that for you. Because my thing about it is, Robin started it when she brought up that speaker to Miami. And if I was Candace, there would be no friendship, because you purposely tried to embarrass me, and it would have been like, okay, I see who you are and you're nothing to me at this point. On top of that, yes, Robin in the beginning was on just like Chris and Candace's side, but when we got to the reunion, she fell off. She didn't stay steadfast in her decision, and it is what it is. As well as, yes, I get where Robin's coming from, where she's like, I'm always going to protect my husband, and I wasn't going to throw him under the bus that way. And I understand that. But then you should never spoke about being cheated on. Girl, you should have never gave the details on your podcast with Giselle. You should have never talked about it behind a paywall. If you was going to be quiet, you should have been quiet. You should have took that to the grave, and you should have just let that whole situation with Giorgio, I think that's his name, the blogger who let that information out. You just should have let it play out. The fact that you spoke about it made it worse. And it did make people look at you like, so this whole time when that whole situation was going on, when you were depressed, because it's making us feel like you were depressed because you knew that man was out here in them streets doing you dirty. And then now, because you tried to say it was COVID, blues. And it could have been, but it could have been a combination of that man treating you dirty. So now we get on this season and you're like getting married. You don't know you want to get married. You want to last season, season 7, you don't know if you want to marry him. You trying to get an infidelity clause to now this. It's like, yeah, girl, if you wasn't going to speak about it and you were going to protect Juan, you should have never spoken about it. You just should have been quiet. And then Candace, girl, I get it. You hurt. You thought that girl was your friend, but she's not your friend. But you also have to take accountability that if that was your friend, you should have never got on the internet and dogged her out. Like, you were going at Robin. You were saying all kind of crazy things. And it's like, why would you think she wouldn't be mad at you? And I get it in your mind. You're like, well, girl, I have a right to be angry. Like, y'all try to paint my husband as a predator and a creep. So why would you not think I wouldn't be lashing out at you? Because I thought you was on my side, but then when we get to the reunion, it feels like you're faltering. It feels like you shifted on me. So yeah, I'm mad at you, but Candace should have told Robin that instead of going online. But also I'm looking at production, because I'm like, why is production only showing what Candace did and not what Robin's done? Like, girl, yes, Candace can be a disaster online. There's something she said that I'm like, girl, I would have just kept that to myself or said it to my friends. But at the end of the day, she's not the only one. Like, she has done things. Y'all have done things. She's not the villain of this show. And it's weird because I feel like that's how production is trying to make it seem. And I don't think production understands that, like, we're not dumbasses. We know what's going on and off the show. And people listen to the podcast that Giselle and Robin do. They also watch the interviews that they do. And people feel like they are culpable. So if you're going to have a show, don't be biased. Show everything. And it feels like y'all are being biased by not showcasing the many times that Giselle's story has shifted on Chris when she explains what happened to, oh, he asked me to go to the room, or I told him, yeah, let's go to my room, to now he forced me into the room. And then you have Robin who switched up. Like, I don't think that's fair. And I think that's what's annoying people. And I get it. Some people just hate Candace. Some people just hate Robin. But I feel at this point, it's in the middle. They both don't want to acknowledge that they hurt each other. They both don't want to explain or say, like, hey, like, what you did hurt me. And I get it. People are like, well, why does Candace need Robin to explain to her? And I'm like, yeah, no, explain it to me, because I'm going to tell you how you hurt me. So you should explain to me how I hurt you. Because in my eyes, I don't think I hurt you. I just was expressing myself. But it is what it is. It is. If they're not going to be friends, they're not going to be friends at this point. And I don't think they should be friends, because Candace really does feel at this point that Robin was in on the situation. And maybe Robin is like, I would never do something like that. But again, you're still friends with somebody who did that. So it does kind of feel like you co-signed in what she did. And it is what it is at this point. y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic. So hop down in them comments below. Tell me your thoughts on the season so far, as well as this episode. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like what you heard. Deuces.